Hello and welcome to my channel Pimby Beauty. If you are new to my channel, my name is Juliana. So I'm going to be creating a Valentine look today. I actually did two last year. I believe I did one from my self-made palette and I did one from a pre-made palette. For this year, this is the only look I'm going to be creating on my channel. I'll be creating alternative Valentine looks, but they'll be on my Instagram, so I'll be exploiting different colors. So for me, Valentine really means, well, a specific amount of colors really. So I think of pinks, I think of reds, I think of purples, all shade of purples, I think of mauve, I think of wine, and that's the way I see Valentine. So those are the colors I'm going to be focusing on today. But on my Instagram, I'm going to be exploiting different ways, to put a Valentine look together. For example, like purples and greens, all the stuff. So I'm kind of excited and looking forward to creating different alternative kind of Valentine looks. But today is going to be a typical Valentine Day look. So I've kind of struggled in terms of which palette I'm going to use this year, because I didn't buy any specific palette for this year. I know Beauty Bay just came out with a Valentine Day palette, which I wasn't going to get, but I eventually caved in and bought it yesterday. But I don't have it yet, so I'm going to be creating a look with the palette I already have. And the one actually that I've been longing to use that came out last year, Valentine, is the Love Epidemic palette from Playing the Makeup by Yolondo. But I think I've pretty much used this palette 4 times now on my channel, so that's a lot. That's a lot. This is the inside of the palette. It's an absolutely beautiful palette. I love it so much that I've actually got a second one. I'm going to depot one of them and use with my singles and creating other palettes, and then keep the new one I got the new one 60% off. Yeah, it is an absolutely beautiful palette. It performs so beautifully. I mean, look at all the reds. If you don't know, red is my favorite color. This is, is gorgeous. But I am not going to use this palette today, so I'm kind of stuck. Alright, so I had a look at my collection. I wish you can see in front of me all the pink and purples and red palettes I have in front of me. So let's quickly look at my options. So the first one is Follow Me to Candy Cane. I got this in a budget box from Plouise, and this is the inside. I actually picked this because of the shimmer. The shimmer is absolutely stunning. I mean, the other mattes are too light for me. This is the shimmer. It is beautiful. You should see that in real life. It's absolutely stunning. So that's the only reason I picked this one out. And then I picked Glamlite. I don't know what this one is called, cherry cake or whatever it's called. But yeah, this is the outside, and the inside is absolutely beautiful. So like you can see, different shades of purple. I love this kind of purples, and it's got this beautiful red right there with a lot of options for me to use for my shimmer. So this is definitely in the running. I don't know what shade I'm going to be picking out of this, but it's one of the palettes I'll be using. And then I picked up Beauty Bay Technidaze palette. So this is one of their like pigment like palettes. So again, the pink in this palette is stunning. So if I do use it, you see me swatch it. But I mean, the temptation of this green as well, I don't know, maybe on my lower lid. But anyway, the pink is, if I need a nice beautiful pink, yeah, I will definitely be digging into this one. And the fourth one is Cest Lamour from Gourmand Girls. Now I bought this palette possibly about 5 months ago, and I'm yet to use it. So this is one of the palettes I might be considering using. And I really picked this one out because of the red and the pink in here, really. Because for me, it's missing purple, it's missing some. But I mean, I'm going to be pulling different colors from different palettes. I don't know. I'm going to try and restrict it to 3 palettes, but I don't know which one I'm going to stick to. Alright, and the last one I'm considering is the Royal Rose palette from Cosmic Brushes. Who, by the way, is just about to bring out a new palette. I cannot wait. Look at the inside of the Royal Rose. Absolutely stunning. So I've only had a chance to use this palette once, so I'm quite excited to be considering using this today. So I'm most likely going to be picking up the purples, the pink from this palette. I mean, to be honest, I don't even know what look I'm going to create. I have, the way I'm seeing the look is like a pink in my inner corner, red somewhere, and then purples on the outer corner. I don't know. Then maybe a fake cut crease with my shimmers. Maybe wine on the lower lid of purple. I don't know. But that is the kind of colors and the way I see the look going, but we shall see. But anyway, that's a long intro. Let's get into the look. Starting with this light pink in my inner corner, with a right near my tear duct by the ridge of my nose. So I really want the light pink to stay here, so I'm gonna kind of like lay another darker pink right here. Going to the next range of pink, I'm gonna go with this one. To be honest, I don't know which kind of pink to go for. Actually, this seems more like a cool tone pink, and this is brighter. So I think I'm gonna first of all try the one in the Beauty Bay palette. And just laying that right from, like, I want to say the third part of my crease. Yeah, I like this shade better. I'm gonna change my brush though. I'm changing my brush here to a more flexible brush. Yeah, this one is really pigmented. Okay, I wasn't going for this on the get-go, but it is a pigment palette, so I kind of understand. Going back to that first pink I used, I'm just gonna slightly blend that into the darker pink. Yeah, because I wasn't expecting it to be as dark as that. I want like a nice progression. Yeah, so building that up nicely and gently mixing it into that lighter pink, and then stopping around here. So this is where I swap to red. Okay, for my red, just so I can limit the amount of palettes I'm gonna use, I'm gonna try the one in the Gourmand Girls cosmetic palette first, Cest Lamour, and then if I don't like that how that's blending, I'll go with the Glamlite one. But this is what that looks like. So just putting that in the outer corner. Yeah, a little bit. See, it's powder. If I'm not careful, that's going to fall on my face, but I'm hoping that my primer can absorb the pigments so it doesn't fall on my face. So I'm gently kind of blending where it meets that pink. But I like the shade. It's pure red. You know how some reds, when you put them on your lid, they turn pink? This is not doing that. It's staying true to color. So I kind of like that. I'm just going to stamp over the pink to blend it in. Alright, from the empty space, I'm going to go into this one. I just love this color. It has to go on my lid. I really love that color. All of this shade, you know, all of this shade are all in the Love Epidemic palette, but I don't want to use that palette again. I could have stuck to one palette if I had used that. But this is what the Glamlite one looks like. It's a beautiful shade of pink. It's beautiful. Beautiful tone of, I want to say purple pink. So it's not exactly very purpley, so it's got a lot of pink in it. And I'm going to take it a little bit to my outer corner as well. So laying it on the red is kind of like going lighter than it should be. I actually don't mind that. Look at that. Alright, going near my tear duct, I'm being careful not to override the lightest pink. So I'm literally just kind of like forming the shape of like a cut crease. Well, my natural crease anyway. Alright, for now I am satisfied with my upper lid, so I'm now going to concentrate on my lower lid. I think I'm going to use the purple, and that purple I'm also going to use it to blend between that that shade and the red. Yeah, to kind of deepen it and give it some sort of cohesion. Alright, going into the purple from the Royal Rose palette, I'm going to use that to darken my outer corner and also put on my lower lid. So just gently stamping on, and towards the front part of my lid I'm using a flat brush just so I can get a precise application and without the purple going all over the place. So it's the same shade of purple, just a different brush. Yeah, that gives me more control in the inner part of my lid, lower lid. And then going to my initial brush, I'm going to use that over it because this one will sort of like blend it and bring the shadow a little bit on my lower lid, as you can see. So it kind of spreads it and blends it for me. And then now going into the outer V, I am just going to stamp that over all the other shades that were there before, the red, the purple and everything. This is how you know a good purple. I mean, look at the purple applying over 2 layers of shadows already, you know, including red. This is the Royal Rose palette. Absolutely beautiful palette. I'm so glad I'm using it again. If you're not following me on Instagram, you are missing out. I'm doing a palette rotation every week at the moment, which is what I'm going to stick to. I'm going to do a video on it as well, but just so you know, I'm doing a palette rotation on my Instagram. So I rotate all my palette out now. I can't believe I've been missing out. All the palettes I've only bought and used once or twice, yeah, I'm using them again. So that is absolutely beautiful. That is purple over red over pink. I'm missing out the outer part of my lid deliberately. I don't want to put the purple here. I'm only putting it on the perimeters of my eye. So it be like, I want to say shading. So I don't want to put it here. I still want that purple to be there, as you can see on this side as well. I don't want to like let the purple cover it. I just want it on the outskirts of my eyes. I don't know. I think it has like some sort of flair to it. That's the way I see it anyway. Okay, I think I'm satisfied with that purple application for now. So now I'm going to apply a shadow in my inner corner. So I'm going with that shade from the Glamlite palette with a dense packed brush, and I'm just going to stamp that in the inner part of my lid towards my tear duct. So it's quite dark, but I like it. I like it. I'm going to lighten it with a shimmer shade. Alright, for my glitter primer or shimmer primer today, I'm going with Kaima Cosmetics shimmer primer. I couldn't find my JD Glow primer on time one day, and I decided to just use this quickly. Bear in mind, it's like a pigment palette, you know, for like loose pigment or glitters or whatever you like. But I used it for the first time on a shimmer, and oh my gosh, it transforms, you know, your shimmers. So if you want like a flashy, you know, shimmer look, oh my days, this is so good for it. So I'm so glad, because it's going to be a replacement for the JD Glow, and I can find it in the UK. So I am going for like a fade cut crease, exactly as it's on my other eye. So this does dry very quickly, but the thing is, if it does dry, you can lay it on top of the shimmer again, you know, like lay a fresh layer. That's what I like about it, because it does absorb it to your shadows, so it doesn't get like flaky or too much or whatever. And it's water-like as well, just like my JD Glue stock. So I am so happy I don't have to pay high shipping cost for this. Alright, so now the shimmer is all laid down, and it doesn't disturb the, can you see, it doesn't disturb the matte. It just kind of like stays there really and absorbs into the matte. On my lower lid in my inner corner, I'm going with this Plouise shimmer. So it's like iridescent shimmer, I want to say, and it's got like a pink tone to it. So I'm going to let it dry a little bit. It's still wet. I mean, you can use it when it's wet. It's just that you might have to apply more product, as you can see. If you just let it dry, then, you know, when it just gets to that stage when it's tacky, that's the best time to apply shimmer on top of it. So I'm sticking to my lower lid for this pink. That is beautiful. So I've got this iridescent pink in a lot of things, singles, you know, shimmers. There's even one in the Love Epidemic palette, so it's quite common. And then for the outer part of my lid, I am going to go with this one. So I'm going to be going back and forth, because once I apply this and I lay another shimmer on top of it, it's going to, if I lay another one right there, it's going to disturb this one I've already applied. So this one basically is going on the outer edge. So this is the one that is most like, you know, the shade I put on my lid. Just laying that on my outer corner. And then going with this one right here, I'm going to put that right next to the one I've just laid down. So right here. I'm not taking it too much high up into my crease, because that's where the lighter one is going to go. But I'm going to still be back with a bit of more blending. But for now, that's where I'm laying that shade. Now going into this one, which is the one right on my crease, and I'm using the same brush I used to apply my shimmer glitter primer, and that's the one that is going right on my crease. So I'm also going to use it to cut my crease, so I'm just kind of like patting it down and then bringing it into the front part of my lid, just like that, and then just following where I lay down that shimmer primer. I'm gonna finesse it later on, but right now I'm just kind of dragging it, and I'm using it to cut my crease all the way to the side. Going into my foam applicator, so it's got like one hand silicone and one hand foam. Picture this in a lot of my videos. This is from Slay Ready Cosmetics, and I'm gonna just pick up the shade. This picks up any shimmer. Oh my, it's pick up too much. It's so good. So if you have shimmers that just can't show up on normal brush, this is what you need. Yeah, I've never seen a shimmer you can't pick up. So I'm just going to put a little bit, I'm going to dab a little bit on the back of my hand, because it did pick up a lot. And I'm going to finesse the application of this shimmer. Yeah, can you see it adds pigment, it adds like I want to say it adds impact into your shadow, this foam brush. If you have one of those old palettes back in them days, then you should probably have this foam brush. I'm laying that down, right, bringing it back to kind of diffuse the too light shade, because I don't want that bright one to be all over my lid, so it's kind of like to dilute it. So basically have like 3 shades on my lid, and then back into that onion purple, then just bring that back on the outer part of my lid. I'm more or less done with the shimmer, so what I'm going to do is go into this purple to define my eyes more. So I'm going to, like, instead of using a line, I'm going to use this as my liner. So I'm going with like an angled brush for like brows or liner brushes. I'm just going to stamp it right where the shimmer begins to give you like I want to say definition, to give you better definition. So building a perimeter around that shimmer and just stamping down. This is as easy as anything. It's literally just stamping it down. Yeah, and that's it. The last thing to do now is to do my wing liner. Alright, for my wing liner, I'm going with Plain in Makeup by Yolondo's liner in Modena. I'll put the name on the screen or in the description section. But this is what it looks like. So it's purple. Purple, not as dark as the purple I'm looking for, but I'm going to adapt my use. So first of all, laying down the wing liner and just pulling upwards. So I'm taking it quite high, as if I had cut my crease. So I'm kind of like going to leave it here. Because I have the purple, I'm going to blend it all together in a bit. Yeah, just like that. I mean, I would have left it like this if it was like a really dark purple. So I'm going to let it dry a little bit. Now that it's dryish, I'm going to go back to that purple and I'm going to use both brushes I used earlier. So the flat brush and the normal brush to pick it up. So the flat brush for the inner part of my wing. So the flat brush will be right there. And I'm stamping it on the liner. Okay, now that I've got the inner part down, I'm going for the wider part of my wing and I'm going with the normal brush. So this one is actually better for applying. I just couldn't use it for the inner part before, so I don't mess it up. I have the purple all over my shimmer. It's really just stamping down. That's the trick. If you have a liner that is lighter than what you want or need, just lay down the liner first. Then when it's tacky, then stamp a darker shadow on it. Might not work for all liners, but the liner I use my liners are from Slay Ready Cosmetic and Plain Makeup by Yolondo. They do work. And then on the outer part of my lid, I'm just going to blend it into the shadow that was there before. Alright guys, that's pretty much the look. So I'm going to apply my waterline liner and my lashes and I'll be right back. Alright guys, I'm back with the finished look. So to finish my look, I used a lipstick called Princess from Slay Ready Cosmetics. And this is what that looks like. So it's like a pink, between pink. It was like a perfect match of one of the shades of my eyes anyway. Yeah, so that's Princess. And for my waterline, I mixed these 3 paints together. So it's like a very, very bright pink, a dark pink, and I want to say turquoise teal blue. So I lay down the dark pink first and then put the blue on top and then lay a little bit of this, especially in the center, to lighten it up. And this is the close-up of the eye. I mean, you saw the close-up pretty much because I did the liner and everything. The only thing I went to do off camera is my lashes and my waterline liner. But this is the finished look. I mean, I had no idea what I wanted to do when I started this video, but I think I like what I ended up with, to be honest. Now, I use 4 palettes to complete my look, but you don't necessarily have to. I mean, the only reason I use 4 palettes is because I didn't want to use the Love Epidemic palette. Otherwise, all the shades I picked up on this 4 palettes, they're all in the Epidemic palette. As for me, I'm more in my element when I'm using different palettes. It's just more exciting, you know, to dig into that palette, to dig into this. You know, it's one way to try most of my palettes as well. Out of the 4 palettes I used, 3 of them are pretty much new to me. So this one I did use the shimmer. Remember, I haven't tried the matte. I'm pretty sure the matte are not going to show up for me unless I use a colored base. But for the shimmer I used, absolutely enjoyed that and it performed well. For the Cest Lamour palette, the shades I used, yeah, again, I enjoyed. I mean, I tried to pick up the shimmers, but I really didn't like it, which is why I didn't go for the shimmers in the end. But for the mattes I used, I think I used 2 mattes. Yeah, I used that bright pink and then that red. Yeah, especially that red. That red performed so well. It didn't dilute in shade. It appeared exactly on my lid as it shows on the palette, so I'm quite pleased with that. Then also this palette, this was the first time using this one too, so I absolutely enjoyed it. Oh gosh, this one I think I'm definitely going to pan very soon. That was a really beautiful shade. That was the one I had towards the end of my eyes and towards the outer corner. Absolutely beautiful. Yeah, every shade in here, shimmer, mattes, yeah, they were beautiful. And for the Royal Rose, this is not my first time I'm using the palette, but I enjoyed again the shade I did use in the palette. I think I only used one. I only used the purple as far as I can remember. Yeah, that was about it. But I am looking forward to using this one more. As mentioned earlier, I said I was going to do more looks on my Instagram, so if you're not following me, yeah, I'll put my Instagram ID on the screen and also in my description section. So go ahead and follow me so you don't miss any of my looks or any of my contents. Yeah, I do tend to post a lot on Instagram when I'm not on YouTube, so you either find me here or you find me on Instagram. Alright guys, that brings us to the end of today's video. I hope you've enjoyed hanging out with me, and if you enjoyed watching me create this look, remember you can always recreate this look. You don't have to use the palette, the exact palette I use. You can just use what's in your collection. But I do hope you've enjoyed watching me create this look. If you have enjoyed this video, please like it, share it and subscribe to my channel. I would love to have you on this platform, and until next time, I'll see you. Bye.